Now, I don't know if you saw the Liverpool-Leicester game, Liam, because you were away. So I'll start this one with John. Again, reading papers at the weekend, John, people talking about Liverpool being nervous against Leicester and citing the atmosphere in the stadium, which went very quiet in the second half when they were, labouring, I suppose you'd call it. I thought it was the pitch. You didn't think it was the pitch. Tonight's a big match for them at West Ham. I mean, West Ham are not in the best shape, but they've got to get back to clean sheets, haven't they, John? And they've got to get back and get the 3 points tonight. Otherwise, they have a problem.
Yeah, well, it's going to be like that, Eamon. When you're in the chase that they're in with Manchester City in the same position, the pressure's on them. Now, I'd say the crowd were more nervous the other day than the players, but obviously conveys itself to the players anyway. I think they'll be good enough. Time will tell them. If you're going to be too nervous to win it, then you're not going to win it. You don't deserve to win it. I don't think Klopp would be nervous at all. I think he's a very positive guy. He's won championships in Germany. I think the crowd are more likely to put the pressure on the players at Anfield because they're so desperate to win the Premiership after so many years.
Yeah.
But the pros, you're bound to get nights like you got it at Leicester. Leicester played particularly well,
they did, yeah.
Better than we expected them to do. And that happens, this is all on paper, what they have to do. And what we'll see in time is, do they have the temperament? Do they have the ability to do it? I think they have. And that's the way it is in the run into a championship in a close race like this. Manchester City have had their problems. They'll have more problems before the end. But the team that has the character, has the nerve and all the various things will go on and win it. I think Liverpool can do it. I think that a lot of people are talking about the pressure and looking for it with Liverpool.
Yeah.
The nerves and the pressure. And when they get a bad result, it's the nerves and the pressure. It's just one of those nights,
Yeah. Liam, when you were at Juventus, for example, I think the last game of the season, you scored a penalty that won Serie A, and it was a massive moment because you were leaving the club straight away afterwards. I want to talk to you about this idea of the pressure a club feels, players feel individually and collectively when you get close to something. And in Liverpool's case, it's 29 years since they won it. How big a factor can it be, Liam?
Well, I think experience is huge, Eamon. And I was lucky. I was at a Juventus side that had won the title in years gone by, and many of the players had 2 or 3 titles under their belt. The likes of Farino, the captain, Scirea, Tardelli, Zoff, Cabrini. All these guys had won the championship 2 and 3 times. So when I was lucky enough to win 2 championships at Juventus. So we were on the run in. It was close twice in both years, but there was an assurance about these players. They'd been there before and they'd done it. I think John would tell you the same when Leeds won their 2nd or maybe 3rd title when he was playing for them. The Liverpool players, they haven't got that experience, so that is a question mark. And without doubt, they're getting a bit edgy. To concede 3 goals at home to Crystal Palace, I think was an indication of that. To draw against Leicester 1-1 is an indication of that. But since Man City beat them, Eamon, they've taken 7 points from 9. Okay, the 2 points that they dropped against Leicester was a big blow. But you have to remember, they wouldn't have expected Man City to lose at Newcastle. So I think they've actually increased their lead since that City defeat. So they've got to hold their nerve. The team has the talent, but they've also got to show that they can handle this kind of pressure, because it is big pressure, and the crowd can relay that to them as well.
Yeah,
as John says, almost 30 years since they won the title. The crowd are going to be so desperate that that's going to be transmitted to the players, and they've got to be able to handle that, and the manager's got to be able to handle that. I think they can. I think they will. I think if they win tonight, that 5-point advantage is a big advantage, with City having to play so many competitions and Liverpool able to get a breather when the next round of the FA Cup is on. I just feel that tips the scales in their favour. But they have to handle the pressure. I do believe there's pressure on. I'd be interested to hear what John has to say after I've spoken there.
Okay, John, at Leeds how often you were there, and actually how often Leeds failed. And there was a thing for a while that, and I think you believe it maybe yourself, that your team, and it was a great team with great players, many great players in it, didn't win as many titles as you should have. So you can understand what the Liverpool and Man City players, but particularly Liverpool players and Klopp, are feeling right now.
Yeah, I think there's more pressure on the Liverpool players now. I mean, when you look at the history of it, they were the really, really top team and dominated for years and years, and it's 29 years since they won it. When I was at Leeds had never won it before.
Yeah,
they didn't go. There wasn't the same pressure that you haven't won it for 10 years or 12 years. Never won anything before. So that type of pressure wasn't on the Leeds players. It has its own type of pressure, obviously. I mean, the first time we won the league in '69, we had to go to the second last match of the season, actually at Liverpool.
Right.
And we had a record number of points at the time to get a draw. And it was only second last match of the season. And we got the draw to win it. But we didn't have the pressure of the history of the club. In fact, like everything that we won at Leeds was for the first time.
Yes.
And obviously that type of pressure wasn't there. There was pressure, I mean, there has to be pressure going into the big matches, and you have to handle and you have to go on and win it. But pressure is part of the game, and if you're not going to handle that, then you're not going to win anything. So
and the circumstances with the Brendan Rodgers team when Steven Gerrard slipped, and that was a kind of cruel, kind of twist of fate. But to go back to Leeds, I mean, would you agree that you probably should have won more than you won in terms of the league?
I'll explain it to you as best I can. I mean, when I was at Leeds, we were in the running for everything for 10 or 12 years.
Yeah.
Right? Now, and I'll give you a little bit of history on it. When we got promotion, we ran Manchester United to the league, and we were beaten in extra time in our first year in the first division by the first great Liverpool team. Right. Now, that was huge success because most teams had struggled when they did. So we had a name for a few years getting runners up. But I'll just give you a little bit of history. From 68 to 74, we won more trophies than anybody else.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
We won the league twice, the FA Cup, the League Cup, the Fairs Cup twice in that particular time. That's a lot of trophies.
Yeah.
When you say the great Manchester City team of the time.
Yeah.
We won 2 or 3 more titles than Manchester City at that time.
And it's funny but because you were in contention for everything, you get the reputation of being maybe not able to finish the job off. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, at that particular time, I think Liverpool, for example, won the league, I think, in '66. They didn't win another trophy till '73.
Right.
I mean, they had a 7-year gap before winning a trophy. That's when we came on to our best at that particular. Manchester United faded away after '68.
Yep.
So we won more trophies than anybody else. Of course, we were in more trophies that we could have won at that particular time.
Yeah, but John, can I interrupt there and say to you, the experience that side had and of being in contention all the time and also being winners all the time, it does help you get across the line going forward, doesn't it? And this Liverpool side has to break that barrier.
Yes.
They haven't got there yet, have they?
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying, Liam. I think the history of Liverpool, we didn't have the pressure of the history of with not winning a trophy.
No, but forget about the history, John. I'm talking about the players on the field having that experience of being winners before.
Yeah.
There's not many in there have that.
No, it's a difficult one, but we were talking about the subject was the fans having the pressure, Liam, of not having won. Of course they have to do it. Every team has to do it. I mean, we won the league first time in 1969, right, going up to the second last match of the season, and the pressure was on week in, week out, week in and week out. And you have to live with that, and you have to do it, and he got over that line, Liam. There's no doubt about that. And like the Liverpool players of this year, as you were saying now, have to do that. You know, they just have to do it. But I think they will do it. I think you think they'll do it. Eamon think they'll do it. But we wait and see. But you have to get it done. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that's worrying, lads. Klopp's record at Dortmund and before that at Mainz is for blowing titles. He did win 2 Bundesligas with Dortmund, but also they had some really severe disappointments. And so far with Liverpool, obviously they lost the Europa League final in 2016 to Seville when they should have won, and they lost the Champions League final last year when they didn't have a goalkeeper, but I wouldn't hold that against him. But he has got a record in his career as a coach of actually missing out. So that has to be factored into the equation as well. But as I say, I mean, players have to stand up really and be counted.